All right, welcome to another edition of Take Five. And are you ready to come down from the mountain? We've been on the mountain a long time. We're not quite coming down today. But you know, the idea that we've been on the mountain a long time going through this passage in Egypt, well, the people felt the same way. But look what they did. We're in Exodus 32. We're going to go verses 1 through 10 today. When the people saw that Moses was so long in coming down from the mountain, they gathered around Aaron and said, "Come, make us gods who will go before us. As for this fellow Moses who brought us up out of Egypt, we don't know what has happened to him." Now, one of the passages, actually the main passage that you and Lee, well, I don't want to mention names, but you and your sister and I told y'all to memorize. Love is patient. And one of the hardest things for people to have is patience. They don't want to wait. And when they don't want to wait, they wind up doing the wrong thing. And that's what happened. These people got tired of waiting for Moses. And so they said, let's just make us some gods. All right. They didn't want to serve the one true God. They wanted to make some gods that they could see. Now, look, Moses' brother is leading them at this point because Moses is gone and Aaron's number 2. So look, do you think Aaron says, no, guys, we can't do this. We got to wait for Moses. Let's look what he says, verse 2. Aaron answered them, "Take off the gold earrings that your wives, your sons, and your daughters are wearing and bring them to me." Now, can you imagine this? They're saying, go get all the jewelry from your family, the gold jewelry. Verse 3, so all the people took off their earrings and brought them to Aaron. He took what they handed him and made it into an idol cast in the shape of a calf. So they melted it all down, and then they made an idol in the shape of a calf. Fashioning it with a tool. Then they said, "These are your gods, Israel, who brought you up out of Egypt." They just made them up. Verse 5, when Aaron saw this, he built an altar in front of the calf and announced, "Tomorrow there will be a festival to the Lord." Now, here they are making a calf, and yet they want to offer a festival to the Lord. It doesn't even make sense, does it? Verse 6, so the next day the people rose early and sacrificed burnt offerings and presented fellowship offerings. Afterward, they sat down to eat and drink and got up to indulge in revelry. All right, so they had a worship service in front of this calf, and then they had a feast, and then it says they got up to indulge in revelry. That basically means an orgy, and you probably don't know what that word means either. That means basically everybody was having sex with everybody. And they didn't care about family relationships or anything. It was all out in the open, and it was just a big drunken party. You can think of something like Mardi Gras. Okay, something like that is what was going on there, except probably worse. Verse 7, and the Lord said to Moses, "Go down, because your people, whom you brought up out of Egypt, have become corrupt. They have been quick to turn away from what I commanded them and have made themselves an idol cast in the shape of a calf. They have bowed down to it and sacrificed to it and have said, 'These are your gods, Israel, who brought you up out of Egypt.' I have seen these people," the Lord said to Moses, "and they are a stiff-necked people. Now leave me alone so that my anger may burn against them and that I may destroy them. Then I will make you into a great nation." All right, what God's telling Moses. Now, God's got something in mind here in this conversation with Moses. But God's telling Moses, hey, just, he says, just get away from me, because I'm going to just kill everybody. That's what God's saying. Look, I'll start all over again with you, Moses. I'm ready to destroy all of them. A couple of points here. God's trying to make a point to Moses. That's why he's saying this. I don't know that God was intending on destroying all these people, but he's using some psychology here. But anyway, we'll move past that. All right. But the point is, because God doesn't end up destroying them at all. Remember, God had promised that he was going to make them a great nation. So Anyway, God does get mad, though. We think God's all nice and sweet. Well, God has a side where he gets mad, and he's a jealous God. And we read that we already read that before. We're going to read it again when we get to the Ten Commandments. Actually, we already read it in the Ten Commandments. He's a jealous God, and here they are sacrificing to idols, and he gets angry. And God gets angry when he doesn't have our whole heart. So those are the main points there. We're going to have to continue tomorrow because we're out of time, but I want you to make sure you give God your whole heart. You don't want to make God mad. You don't want to make him jealous. You don't want to make him angry. All right, give him your whole heart. All right? And yes, I have to start wearing glasses now to do these programs. Anyway, went a little long today. Come back tomorrow. We'll be in verse 11 on the next edition of Take 5.